about killing ourselves. Well, somebody came up with that idea.
Yeah, but there are white people in Maryland. There are white people in Baltimore. What the hell are they doing other than drinking lattes over at Starbucks?
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you.
I would like to know.
Why
can't I be in this club? Do I want to drive a Lexus? Hell yeah.
Well, look.
I would love to be in that latte sipping club. What do I gotta do, huh?
Well, see, that's the thing. That the problem with the situation is, and how this is the reason why we got poor people. You know, because mainly.
I wasn't raised that.
No, but I know you wasn't raised, but I gotta explain to people why we got poor people and why you have lower classes. Because it comes from that mentality of people sitting there taking away from what people already had. I mean, it's like saying, pretty much, you know, when you had this monarchy type matter, when them type of things were established, they were already taken away from stuff that people already had. The people that came over didn't have much to begin with in the beginning. And when you had people, you know, putting that junk on them, you know, it made stuff tough. You know, I couldn't imagine even living in a time period being ruled by a king, being told that you couldn't hunt none of the food in the forest, that you had to just obey everything by the king. This is the reason why you don't got kings and queens no more. Because that type of mentality didn't work. Now what we got right now is a democracy, and you know, we got, you know, Republican and Democrat. But sure, even with that daggone junk, you still got problems because once again, people can't get along, and then you had this whole thing, you know, with the classes, the lower class and the middle class, and you got the poor people, and then of course you got the elites people at the top. You know.
So let me get to something I was telling Q-Dome over here before we turned on the camera and start rolling. Basically, we went to the Preakness back in May, you know, the Preakness, the running of the Preakness, right? So we go, and I'm not gonna lie, you know, tickets were fairly high, but we just got in a roommate, he gave us a lot of money up front, so we were able to afford it. You know, they were $40 a piece. Well, we get there, and the only, I don't want to say the only, there were a couple speckles in the crowd. Basically, everybody that came in there as a guest, a ticket holder, was white. The only black people just about were the people that were either there to do security
or clean up. Look, I'm gonna tell you, people put themselves in that position.
I mean, there were some black guests, but not that many. You could probably count on your hand.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, some people put themselves in that position to basically do them jobs. It's for the same reason. I mean, nowadays you see a lot of Mexicans doing jobs that even black people, because once again, we're going through that evolutional process of, you know, with the whole thing with the classes. I mean, you know, one day is going to be a point where, you know, Mexican people won't get up and say, hey, we don't even want to do these jobs no more. And then somebody else, who knows, somebody else is going to take their place. But, you know, that's the way it is. That's how this is. I mean, now the whole thing with white people is, now certain white people, they have already made it up in their mind they're not going to take them type jobs. They're like, look, I'm going to be drinking a latte. Whoever's going to be doing the trash.
But you have to have money.
Yeah, you gotta have money. You gotta have money.
You gotta have money to drink the latte.
Well, you gotta look at it.
I have a hard time believing that everybody in Maryland who's white is independently wealthy.
No, hell no. Please.
You know, I'm just saying. You know, I've tried to apply even on the job that I currently do. There are very few white people that do. There's me. There's the captain, and then there's like two other white guys. There's a white woman. She's a little bit homely, but I'm just saying, you know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna sum this up to make it sense. I'm gonna compare this to dating, and it's gonna make a lot of sense when I tell y'all people how this works. All right. I'm gonna call this. I mean, you know, there's a mathematical theory. There's a mathematical actually been proven that, you know, one's probably dealing with work and dealing with dating. Okay, let's look at it from a pool. Okay, if you're dating somebody. Okay, let's say for instance your pool is small. You're small, but you're in a small town. All right. Before you actually find the right person, you might go through 10 people, meaning you might have to get rid of 10 buddies, and out of them 10 buddies, you might actually choose one. You might choose one of them, and you find the right person. Okay, looking at another scenario. If you live in a big city like New York, all right, you got 1,000 buddies. You might see you have to go through 1,000 buddies before you actually find the right person. Okay, now let's apply the same equation to the job thing. Okay, same scenario. If it's a place like Maine, you know, that like an area or areas like a section like that, where you got that little small town type stuff going on. Once again, you know, there's going to be a more likely probability factor where they're not going to turn away so many people. Meaning you're going to see a lot of white people doing them jobs. Now, in some place like here, big difference. Better believe. Since there's a whole bunch of people, is a lot of people that can sit up there and turn it down and don't have to do it because they have a whole bunch of people they can go through. You know, this is the reason why, like at my job at Walmart, so many people are going in and out like a revolving door. Because they can sit up there and refuse, you know, to accept so many daggone, you know, 100 daggone people because they prefer to hire within, you know, or rise people up into position within the company. It makes sense because, you know, the larger your pool, the more buddies you had to get rid of. The smaller your pool, the less buddies you had to go through. Which makes sense. Now think about it. Probability-wise, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense. Look where we live in. If we was living in Maine, it'd be different. Alright, people, see, you know, okay, answers solved. You have any more questions? I mean, actually,
I don't think I have enough memory card left on my camera.
Yeah, she don't think she has enough memory card. Let me check and see if this thing is still running.
Answer another question.
Okay, it's still running. There's one last thing I'm going to throw in, just for sake of argument. Also, another problem I find with the jobs and things is these damn bosses. These damn bosses we got, you know, a lot of them. You know, you have good bosses and you have really lame bosses. Lame bosses are those ones that do not care about the employees. They forget that it's the employees that help run the company. Not yet. No, I'm saying something that needs to stop. Seriously. You know, these bosses that are out here that are sitting there taking advantage of the employees, they need to be fired. They need to be dealt with. They need to be sent to McDonald's flipping burgers and putting fries. Yes, they need to feel what it really feels like to really work and really have to work for what you want. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, even though some of y'all might say, hey, but you know, some of them guys were just like people like us. That may be true. But you know what? Some of these people, they need a reminder. They need a reminder of where they came from and what could happen to them. And see, the thing about it is, I was once in a position where I was doing management, and I never forgot myself. That's the thing. You know, remember. You gotta remember your people. You gotta remember, between boss and those that are under you, they're just like you. Remember, before you got to that level, you was once like them. If you can remember that, you can never go wrong. You know, I'm not saying you have to be buddy-buddy with them, but at the same time, you don't have to act like an a-hole at the same time when you're dealing with people. There's a way to deal with people without being lame. You know, even though some people might argue, so, well, you know, the reason why, you know, they act like that, look at the people. No, it's still no excuse. I don't care what you say. It's still no excuse. People can be better. You know, that's right. We're living in the 21st century, people. Wake up. We got a black president. Not that that really matters, but I'm just saying. You know, wake up. Anyway, this is Q Doma. I'm signing off. I'll talk to y'all later.